You're right. It's not your fault. You are never going to be successful. Now what? I find this hilarious because we like to blame outside circumstances for us not being in the position we want to be in, but I mean, where's this going to lead you to? Okay, let's play it out. Let's say you blame your parents for you not having amazing genetics, for you not having CBOM genetics, or let's say you blame your grade 8 math teacher for you not knowing how to do algebra properly, or let's say you blame your first girlfriend for dumping you or breaking your heart the first time, right? Like, you like to blame all these outside circumstances and like to point the finger at other people for you maybe being in the position you are in right now today, right? But then if you really try to just think about it, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, but at the end of the day, it is your responsibility, right? It's like your parents could have given you the worst genetics ever. Your mom could have not taught you proper health and nutrition when you were a kid. Your dad may have never played your favorite sports as a kid, whatever it could have been, right? But it's like, ultimately, life happens, you move on, but now what? It's like, do you want to keep living your life blaming these outside circumstances, like blaming your parents, blaming your math teacher, blaming your ex-girlfriend, blaming all these arbitrary people, right? For you not being in the position that you want to be in. Because if that is the life that you want to live, that is a very, very, very sad life. Like, could you imagine living the rest of your life into your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, especially with technology nowadays? I imagine you will live up to 100, right? Let's say you're 20 years old watching this video right now and you had this really negative experience with your parents, maybe, let's say, right? Let's say you want to become this pro bodybuilder. You're working really hard in the gym, but you maybe don't have enough knowledge when it comes to your nutrition. And you maybe say, you know what, the reason why I'm not in phenomenal shape right now is because when I was growing up and I was 7 years old, my mom always used to take me to McDonald's, and she should have just taken me to a salad place, or she should have educated me a bit better about nutrition, because had she done that back then, I'd be in far better shape right now and I would have been a pro bodybuilder by now, right? Or I'm so upset that my dad never took me to the gym when I was younger because he did not do that. Now I'm in a position where I have to play catch up. Or now, because I never took advantage of my newbie gains at such a young age, now I feel like everyone else is just out competing me and I could never stand a chance nowadays, right? It could be anything. Those are just some weird examples that I just came up with, but again, you could be anything, right? And I see so many people in different situations as well. But let's say, using that example, blame your parents, right? Do you really, and really sit down and ask yourself this question, do you really want to live the rest of your life blaming your parents for you not being the person that you want to be? Bad things happen, that happened in your childhood, that happened when you were 10, that happened when you were 15. All this stuff happens, right? But then do you want to continue on blaming this event or this specific person? Could you imagine blaming John, this arbitrary person who, John doesn't even know that you're pointing the finger at him. John is just living his life right now. John is just doing his own thing. John is doing John things, but you are just deep down, just super upset with John because when you guys were 11 years old, he made fun of you in middle school and it scarred you for the rest of your life. Are you going to keep blaming John for that? If that's the life you want to live and to continue on blaming John, I mean, that is a really bad life to live. And you're placing all this power now on this specific person who, realistically speaking, has no idea that you have been doing that, right? And so now you found yourself in a situation where other people are in full control of your life. And I don't know about you, but I want to live a life on my own terms. And in order for me to do that, I have to take full responsibility. I need to hold myself accountable for everything that happens in my life, for actions that I personally take and for things that happen outside of my control. It doesn't matter what happens to me. An earthquake could happen right now. Is it my fault? No, it's not my fault. But if my house breaks, if my car breaks, it is, at the end of the day, my responsibility. If someone rings on my doorbell right now and leaves a baby at the door, is that my fault? No, of course not. What are you kidding me? Of course not. I didn't just order a baby. But guess what? Now it is kind of my responsibility. So I'm going to have to figure something out to deal with this situation, even though it's not my fault, right? And there's so many small little things. I know that's an extreme example, but there's so many small little other things that do kind of happen that may not necessarily be your fault. And it may kind of be oh my goodness, this sucks. Why is the earth against me? Why is the universe doing this to me, right? And I mean, of course, we can break it down and maybe say it's just trying to test you, right? Maybe it's a challenge that you need to overcome, or you need to go through some adversity. And really quickly on that point, if you want to become someone that has strong character, amazing character, or let's say you have this kid that you want to raise and you want him to be strong, confident, and you want to be disciplined, you want to have strong character, what would you make this specific person go through? Would you want to give him an easy life? Do you want to give him everything, give him all the money, magically give him a six-pack, magically give him all the girls? You want to give it all to him? Or would you rather him go through a bit of adversity and go maybe learn things the hard way? Do you maybe want his heart to get broken every now and then by a girlfriend? Or would you want him to maybe go to soccer practice and then get kicked off the team because he wasn't good enough, and maybe getting a couple F's in school because he failed a couple classes because he didn't study hard enough, right? Like if you were to give this specific person everything and he never had to work hard for it, I mean, at the end of his life, he's not going to be a person with strong character. He's not going to have a lot of discipline. He's not going to be this one specific person that you would, or that anyone really would look up to, right? Whereas if you take the exact same person and you make him go through a difficult life, make him go through a bit of adversity, and make him learn the hard way sometimes, this person is not only going to learn the hard way and actually learn his own lessons, he's going to come out of it alive. Obviously, like, it's not going to die, of course not, but he's going to come out alive, and he's going to have so much more character because of that. Going back to my initial point, it doesn't matter if it's your fault or not, but it is your responsibility. And the moment you accept that it is your responsibility, that is the moment that you are in full control of your life. And once you're in full control of your life, you are in charge. You want to become a person with strong character? Cool, go through some adversity, learn your lesson. Do you want to become a person that, despite your genetics, still wants to build an amazing physique? Awesome. Go educate yourself right now. Maybe you didn't learn much when you were a kid, but guess what? Today, you get to learn. You got Google right in front of you, you got technology right in front of you, you got the library, you got TikTok, you got all these social media apps. There's no excuse for you not to learn something that you did not learn about in the past. If you want to build an amazing physique, go to the gym. You may not even have to read a book about the gym. Just go to the gym, put yourself in that environment, surround yourself with like-minded people. You'd be surprised by you just being around people that are in phenomenal shape, how much you actually learn from being around that, right? You'd be surprised as well by just subscribing to my YouTube channel, how much you'd actually learn about fitness without even stepping foot into the gym, right? Cheeky little plug there. And so I do want to end this quick little video with a quick little story. So I had this really close friend that I met in Houston probably a year and a half ago. I met him at Alpha Lands, the gym, and he seemed like such an amazing guy. I won't mention his name because I think you guys will probably know who he is, so I'll just leave that completely out of it. But I met this person and we met at the gym. I saw him outside. He was like working really, really hard, and it caught my attention. I was like, oh, okay, cool, good job, man. And he came up to me actually a couple minutes later. He's like, hey, what's up, mate? And I was like, oh, how's it going, dude? And he just kind of like introduced himself to me, and he was super talkative. Like, he just honestly wouldn't shut up, and he seemed like a really cool guy. So I was like, awesome. I grabbed his contact information, and I saw him again the very next day at the gym. And then we spoke again, and from there we just kind of like kept talking. I got his Instagram, and then we started like becoming workout partners, which was really, really cool. Because I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this before, but if you've ever gone to a gym before and you see someone that is like your age, similar strength level, similar goals, and you kind of like get to meet this person, and you kind of like get to know them really well, it's almost like a really cool thing, right? Because now you have this similar person who's like on a similar mission towards you. So we basically became really good workout partners for a couple months, and this guy seemed like he had amazing work ethic. It seemed like this guy had a lot of integrity. It seemed like this guy was super motivated all the time and just had some amazing habits when it came to his health and to his fitness. I was like, oh my goodness, I can actually, like, I want to be around this guy, right? Because by being around like-minded people, it's only going to make you grow and grow and grow, right? So I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And fast forward a couple months, we actually ended up becoming roommates. I quickly learned out that he was not the person that he portrayed himself to be, which honestly was really unfortunate. So basically what happened is that we became roommates, and of course like the first couple of weeks is like super exciting, high testosterone, high energy, go to the gym, like do push-ups randomly, eat healthy meals, drink protein shakes, like all this like guy bodybuilding stuff, right? And then after a couple of weeks, he just did not do that anymore. So he started sleeping in a lot. He started like not even going to the gym. He started skipping workouts. He started eating super unhealthy. I mean, I don't even think his diet was super healthy to begin with, but I basically got to see the real version of this person. He was ordering Uber Eats all the time. He was ordering like pizza, Chinese food, fast foods every single day. He would not leave the house. He would stay in his room, like in this single dark room. Like, he wouldn't even open his windows. He wouldn't even open the blinds either. Just completely dark, pitch black. He just scroll on TikTok, scroll on his phone, watch movies all night, and just like pretty much do nothing. And he'd do this for like months. Literally months. And now, of course, on the occasion, I may see him like in the kitchen or something, like at midnight, or I may see him like go outside in Uber somewhere. Like, he'd of course leave his room, right, to like live life. But for the most part, at least from what I could have seen, was he just spend most of his days in his room. When this first started happening, I was a bit concerned. I was like, hang on, like, why are you acting this way? Like, I tried my absolute best to like drag him out of bed. Like, I wouldn't physically drag him out of bed, but I do the most that I could. Like, I'd call him all the time. I'd text him. I'd make him subconsciously feel bad about certain actions that he would take. Like, I wouldn't call him certain names. So I'd be like, oh, you're ordering another pizza, huh? Or, oh, you're missing another workout today, huh? Too busy sleeping or too busy watching movies. Like, I'd subtly like make small little digs at him. I kind of did want to like make him feel bad for choosing those actions instead, right? Because I know what this person is capable of. Like, I know what this person could do based on his past, right? Because of course we used to go to the gym all the time, hype each other up. So I know what he's capable of. So I wanted to like really like make sure that I push him. And because I do care about him, like he is a really good friend of mine. I wanted the best for him. So I really like, I tried my absolute best. This is probably the most amount of effort I put into any other person to make sure that, hey, like, let's be healthy. Like, let's work out. Let's push our bodies. Let's crush these goals, right? This is the most amount of effort I put into a single person. And after like probably a couple of weeks of doing this, he still would not change. He still wouldn't go to the gym. He still wouldn't do any of it. I basically gave up. Like, I was like, okay, you know what? This guy is not the person who I thought he was. And now to this day, I'm like, okay, this person was probably just like putting on an act. He definitely never was that specific person who I thought he was when I first met him at the gym, right? I know this now in hindsight, but at the time I was like, dude, what's going on? Like, you're not being yourself. But now deep down, I know that the version that I just explained to you, like that is who he is. Like that is himself. And so I basically gave up with him after a couple of weeks of like trying really hard to like get him back on track again. And what I've realized from that little story is that no matter how hard anyone tries, you cannot change anyone. You just cannot. Like, people are not gonna, like, even your parents, like your parents love you the absolute most. Your brothers, your sisters, your siblings, your family members, like those are the people that love you the most, right? But not even them are willing to drag you out of bed. Like, not even them are willing to do that. And if they can't do that, and if you can't drag yourself out of bed, if you can't drag yourself to go to the gym, eat healthy, and do any of this stuff, no one else is coming to save you. And I think the moment you realize that no one is going to spoon feed you the results, no one is going to motivate you all the time, no one is going to make you become more disciplined, like no one is coming to save you. And once you realize that, and once you come to the conclusion that, okay, this life, it may not be my fault, but once I do take responsibility of everything that happens in my life, and once I hold myself accountable, and once I realize that no one is coming to save me, and it all comes down to me and my actions and what I do in order for me to reach my desired outcome, that is the moment when you start to take charge of your life, and that's when you start to see actual results. And that's the story that I want to leave you guys with, because I think it may resonate with a lot of people, or at least give you guys a bit of context that if you guys do find yourself in a rut, if you guys do find yourself in a situation where you maybe are not on track, or in a situation where you would like to be, you could point the fingers all you want. You could blame anyone, anything you want, but ultimately it's not going to serve you at all. And the moment you realize that it won't serve you, and the moment you kind of like start taking action for yourself, that is the moment that you are in full control of your life, and that is when you actually can start seeing changes within your life. So with that said, I'm going to wrap up today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please be sure to go give this video a thumbs up. I would highly appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.